2020 marked two significant milestones in the history of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad's San Juan extension. It was 140 years ago, in the spring of 1880, that grading and track laying began from Antonito, Colorado towards Chama, New Mexico. Despite bitter cold and snowy weather, crews continued to spike rails to ties, and the infant town of Chama greeted the first train on the last day of 1880. The old story of automobiles, better highways, fewer rail passengers, and a fairly slow trip combined to cause the cancellation of the San Juan that ran between Alamosa and Durango in 1951. Time eventually ran out for the rest of the Denver and Rio Grande Western narrow gauge lines. As suddenly as it began, the 1950s traffic boom disappeared when the San Juan oil and gas field reached maturity. By 1959, car loadings were down and traffic had fallen to only one train per week. The final culmination occurred in 1967 when the Denver and Rio Grande Western filed an application with the Interstate Commerce Commission to abandon the narrow gauge line between Alamosa and Farmington.
A project where the Friends and the railroad are partnering together to make this happen. The Friends are doing the woodwork, and so right now they're building new windows and doors because the old ones were basically falling apart. And then we will be doing the mechanical and boiler work here as soon as they're done with that. So this is an Alco-built rotary snowplow, and basically is about as original as you kind of get.
And you guys are going to try to run this next winter, huh?
Yeah, so we'll be running this. We have an event on the 29th of February and the 1st of March, 2-day event. And so, you can see that we have the temporary plywood over the windows and doors for protection, and they're building the new windows and doors. We also are going to be putting on a new roof, a new soldered seam tin roof, which will be basically about a 100-year solution. The existing roof has failed, and that's what's contributing to car body deterioration. So we received a grant from the Narrow Gauge Preservation Foundation to help us with that effort, to be able to protect the woodwork so that it can live on, and then we will be doing the mechanical work shortly. Like I say, if this thing has 90 days of service on it since it was built in 1923, I'd be very surprised. So as such, we are very fortunate. There really isn't a whole heck of a lot of work that really needs to be done to make it operable.
Just cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, a lot of cosmetic stuff, and then of course, doing the boiler inspection, etc. We have still done our due diligence to be able to ultrasound and run some engineering on what it is that we actually have here, and make sure that it is indeed safe and suitable for service. And amazingly, this pressure vessel is at basically blueprint spec for thickness. So firebox, shell, etc. This thing is in incredibly good shape. And again, so few days of service, it's been stored dry all the time, and that makes all the difference.
By 1968, many individuals and organizations started to consider the possibility of preserving a portion of the original San Juan extension for use as a tourist line. The states of Colorado and New Mexico joined forces, each creating its railroad authority. The New Mexico and Colorado Railroad Authorities purchased the 64 miles of track between Chama and Antonito in July 1970. 2020 is the 50th anniversary of the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad, and the celebrations will continue throughout the year, beginning with the operation of the newly restored Snowplow, OY, on February 29, 2020.